What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Stock Watch Sunday. My name is Brad, and this is Own the Chaos. This is a channel derived and surrounded around over-the-counter stocks, over-the-counter penny stocks in particular, and that is what I do every day. I trade and make a living trading these highly volatile penny stocks. And the reason for creating this channel was to be able to provide information for you guys to be able to learn and grow as well in this crazy and volatile world. So welcome if you're visiting for the first time ever. I'll let some folks trickle in. Some stocks that we're watching tonight, again, are just ones to watch. I want to kind of like reiterate that this isn't a buy list, a sell list, or anything like that. It's just something, you know, I find value in taking certain steps towards due diligence and reading charts and that sort of thing. And so I just kind of want to give a glimpse as to how I find success and the types of things that I look for when making a buying or selling decision. So we're going to look at three stocks that I have pulled up going into February 2019. I can't believe February is already here. And we'll go ahead and get started. So let me welcome some folks here. Alan, what's going on? Bob, Cody, Shane, Tom, some of the usual familiar faces I see in here. Another Tom, Justin Slay, what's going on? Jenny Stroh, good to see you. Hope you're staying warm up there, Jenny. Yeah, lots of good stuff going on. So good to see you guys here. I'm ready to get the week started and let's get ready to go. Sorry about that. And right, so let me go ahead and share my screen and we'll get ready to go. So this is my Discord group. If you haven't checked that out yet, it's a free platform. The link's in the description. By all means, feel free to check that out. But this is WeTrade HQ. If you're not familiar with WeTrade HQ, is a free platform where people can learn and grow and celebrate each other's success. And we provide free tools for all of you to be able to use within our free platform. This is going to be the first stock that I'm watching today, which is, or this week, I should say, which is ASRN. Now, with ASRN, it's interesting to note because with ASRN, they came out with news, okay? So they came out with news earlier this week that they signed a letter of intent to acquire Yuengling's ice cream. Now, typically, I don't really put too much, too much weight into LOIs in particular. I understand why they need to be put in place. I understand why people do them. It's for legal reasons, obviously. But for me, I like to see actionable items. And for a letter of intent, it's not quite enough for me to just go all crazy on it. But you know, it's interesting to note that they put out an LOI to acquire Yuengling ice cream, which I thought was interesting. Yuengling ice cream is actually the same Yuengling that makes the beer. If you're interested, if you know or heard of Yuengling beer, which in my area is very popular. I live in Maryland, and it's just over the border in Pennsylvania. It's pretty popular. It's pretty big in my area. I know there's some pockets here and there across the U.S. that are familiar with Yuengling Brewery. It's America's oldest brewery. That's what they brag about. But they also have this ice cream line, which I actually was unaware of until this news came out. And I had to do some more digging to see if this was actually, in fact, a thing. So I went and did some more digging. There's a couple things that I don't like about ASRN. So this is one that I did take a position on, but I didn't go crazy heavy on it or anything like that. It's dark and defunct as it looks like to me it's listed as permanently revoked on a Nevada Secretary of State. They haven't had a disclosure out since 2017. You know, they're originally known as being a mining company for gold. So, like, I don't know if this is just a reverse merger. Maybe ARSN isn't going to be ARSN anymore. So the reason why I got a starter position on this was just because I didn't want to miss out on these lower prices, because if, in fact, it's going to be blasting off here, I want to make sure that I at least get in at a low price so that I can get at the lowest possible average. I may work my way in if I find more clues that lead me to believe that this could be a really huge deal. But we'll see where this goes. You know, just doing some more research on Yuengling themselves, the ice cream's actually pretty popular. And what actually intrigued me the most was that they are in partnership with Goldbelly. I don't know if you're familiar with Goldbelly. It's a really interesting company. I didn't know anything about Goldbelly until I was doing due diligence. This is why I love penny stocks, because it allows me to do some more research and investigative work on like all kinds of stuff. So Goldbelly is actually a company that, like, whatever, if you are craving your favorite food, maybe you're from Chicago and you're actually living in California right now, and you are like, man, I could really go for some deep dish Chicago pizza. They actually send this to you. You can order deep dish Chicago pizza from your favorite restaurant. This is Gino's East, and they will ship you food. Alan's just saying he bought from Goldbelly before. It's actually interesting. I've never heard of them, but it looks awesome. And Yuengling is actually in partnership with them, with Goldbelly, for distribution purposes and stuff like that. I know I'm getting a little too much detail here probably, but the point I'm trying to say is that if this is actually happening, if ASRN is actually acquiring Yuengling ice cream, this could be a great opportunity for them and add value to this company. Again, I want to reiterate and caution anybody who's looking to make a buying decision on this, that there is a stop sign here. They are listed as dark and defunct. They haven't had a filing out in, a year and a half. So I don't, know entirely what's going on. It is interesting to note that their transfer agent is still very active. If you look at the security details here, the share structure is actually pretty decent, and it's been updated this month, in fact, on January 4th. Doing some quick math here, it looked as if the float could be, barring that there isn't anything held at DTC, that the float's actually probably around double what it is listed here in 2017. So it's probably around 53-ish million in the float, which is still very good and wouldn't take much to move it. It's just going to have to wait to see it and develop. And this is why it's a watch list, right? So we have a one that we're just going to watch and keep an eye on. It's not something that I'm telling anybody that they have to buy. But for me personally, I like the action that it has, and I like the share structure. And this could be a huge deal if this actually ends up going through. Not going to, sing its praises forever. I still have to see what might be unfolded here in the future. But it was worth it enough for me to take a small position to see where it goes. So next one is LVCA. Again, this is on the WeTrade HQ platform, and it's absolutely free for you to join. The links are in the description below for you to join for free, and utilize the trading view charts, which are really great charts to do technical analysis on. And this is one that I was talking about last week a little bit, and actually the middle of this week, I should say, which is LVCA. LVCA, we talked about this a little bit in one of our midday market recaps, and I'm having it on the watch list this week because LVCA is being oversought, or is owned by one of the Barbara Bowman, who is related, or affiliated, I should say, with Joseph Acaro, which he is well known within the OTC and penny stock world as buying these shells, basically reviving them and then selling them to merge into other companies. And so Barbara Bowman she's a lawyer along with her husband, and they work very closely with Joseph Acaro. And the reason why I like LVCA, they came out with news this week. Lake Victoria Mining Company announces change in control and corporate repurposing, Grapefruit Boulevard Investments. Just to give you a brief overview of what they are cultivation and ancillary business related to the cannabis industry. More specifically, I believe it's the medical cannabis. And so LVCA is going to be, it has a new direction, a new outlook. And I think that the more that they release out and confirmation of this in the form of like an actual filing, it should be interesting to see where LVCA goes. The reason why I like this, and I like to look at some historical things. Now, obviously, history doesn't always repeat itself. But the last time that Barbara Bowman took over a shell and revived it and turned it into something else, which is very similar to LVCA, which was, NUGS. So NUGS, this is when it was acquired. If I'm just looking at this here, before the merger happened, it was hanging around 2 and 3 cents. Once the merger took place, it actually had highs of around over $7, and it has really kind of obviously settle back down at about $1.50. But even if you get down, if you had gotten down here in these lower this lower penny range, you're still sitting pretty even months later. So NUGS, why I like the correlation here is because NUGS was a mining company. They were then converted and sold to a cannabis company. The share structure is very similar to LVCA, and so their outstanding shares and float. You look at LVCA here, 167 million in the OS. 180 million in the OS for NUGS. NUGS was a mineral company that has been converted into a cannabis company. LVCA was a mineral company that was turned into it looks like it's turning into a cannabis company. So there's a lot of parallels here. They're involving the same people. They have the same share structures. They're mining companies being converted into cannabis companies. So I just like the comparisons here. And again, this isn't to indicate that this is exactly what's going to happen. It's not going to go from the penny range to, $7. I'm not implying that it will, but it is interesting to note that something that was once done before could possibly happen again. I'm not going to make any kind of absolute prediction that this is actually going to happen, but I'm just going to say that I like the way that this looks, and it's certainly going to be one that I'm going to continue to watch this week and into February of 2019. The last one that I'm watching this week is going to be EQLB. This is one that I first featured for the first time last week, and I indicated to you guys that I really like this cup and handle pattern here. This is on the daily, This is on the daily. And even if you pull it back to the hourly chart, it looks really good. That nice formation here, this nice pattern. And I said on Sunday that if it broke this resistance, that it could definitely see a nice move in the right direction. I was talking about this when it was at 0.011 cents per share. It ended Friday at 0.015 cents per share. So I'm still liking it very much so. The reason why this is potentially moving, and this is just my theory, is because, as I stated last week, rebranding is being overseen by Kevin Harrington, who is one of the original sharks from Shark Tank. If you're not familiar with that, it's a CNBC show. It's very popular, and he's a very popular and very successful entrepreneur who takes companies and revives them and turns them into very successful companies. EQLB is in the beverage industry, and the CEO is, if you guys aren't familiar with this platform that I'm using, it's OTC Markets. This is where I go to do all my research and due diligence. And Maurice Owens is the CEO of EQLB, and he has a Instagram account. That's where he puts a lot of his stuff. So as you can see here, this is Harrington right here, and this is actually Timbaland. So if you guys know who Timbaland is, he's obviously a very famous producer, and he is actually involved in the Last Shot Hydrate product that they're putting out. Had interviews with Timbaland and talked strategy with Kevin Harrington just this week, and I think that is potentially why we started to see some sudden moving, some nice decent buying here over in the recent weeks in January alone, and obviously that continuation towards the end of last week. I think February could potentially be very exciting for EQLB if they start coming out with PRs related to some of this activity that's been going on the CEO of EQLB's Instagram account. So it's very interesting to note here. As far as share structure goes, it looks great. Floats, 492 million, which is a little, it's right in the middle there. Really could move without any real effort. Wouldn't take much to do that. And I don't know. I just like it. I think that, there's some really big names in here. You don't have to worry about stop signs and anything like that. I just like it. And we'll see where it goes in February. So there you have it. Those are the three stocks that I am watching going into February. We'll see where that ends up. And keep an eye on them throughout this week and throughout the rest of the month as well. So hope you guys saw why I see value in those particular stocks and why they're kind of on my radar and why I'm watching them at this point. Again, I've made purchases in 2 out of these 3 stocks. Going to continue to watch the third one, and we'll see where that ends up. And so let me, without further ado, see if there's any questions that you guys have, and go from there. So Giordano's is the best. I don't know who. I guess that's probably relating to the Goldbelly, perhaps. Is that the pizza maybe? So anyway, ARSN, yeah, ARSN, that was the ticker that I talked about. That was the first one that I was talking about, the potential merger with Yingling Ice Cream. Thoughts on YUMA? I can certainly pull that up. Alan says NRPI, attorney letter out, share structure looks great, but cross and bones. They can run to, we have seen this. Yes. So what Alan's referring to is NRPI. They started to get some activity going there. Attorney letter was out to get current. That's all we've seen so far, but we'll see if that continues to, shed some light on what's going on. That's the thing with penny stocks and the type of trading that we do within the OTC is that we're trying to uncover something that may happen before it happens in order to get in at the lowest possible price so that we can maximize our profits. So, because oftentimes once the news comes out, it could potentially be way too late. Sometimes it continues to run after that news, but lots of times it won't. And so we like to try to uncover what could potentially be happening before it actually happens. And that's why I love it so much. I love the volatility for one, and I love all the investigative work that goes into finding out what could potentially be happening here within any potential position that I might take. So, okay. INKW could see a good catalyst this week, nearing normal time frame for a property closure. And the tweet hinted there could also be a distribution contact or two. So, yeah, very good point, Blade Runner. If you guys aren't familiar with what he's talking about, INKW is a company that they're getting ready to acquire a bottling facility that produces 3 million, has a capabilities of producing 3 million beverages per week, which is an insane amount. For me personally, they were dark for a while and then got reinstated, and then they put out all of their filings, and then they got current, and then they announced that they were acquiring this bottling facility. They also announced that they're getting into the cannabis industry. So there's a lot of moving parts with INKW. I think there's some impatient people going, with that so far, but it looks like it's holding its gains very well. I am very heavily invested in INKW, so I don't want to over pump it, but there is a lot going on with INKW that I like, and we'll see where that goes. I think there's going to be some really good news that comes out after the acquisition goes through. For me personally, I don't know why anybody would go and acquire a 60,000 square foot bottling facility if they weren't planning on announcing who they were distributing to and all that good stuff. So once we find out that, I think we'll see some really great movement from INKW, tons of value there. The share structure is amazing, which they did announce that they adjusted that as well. So lots of good things going on there. I don't want to go into too much detail and go on and on and on because I feel like I talk about it all the time, but it's something that's a particular stock that I'm especially excited about. So any thoughts on the George Sharp drama? I try to stay away from drama as much as I can. I have to admit that I am human. Sometimes I fall victim to that, and we'll get triggered sometimes, just like anybody else probably would. But I do my best to try to avoid all that, so I'm not going to comment on it just for that sake. The price on INKW, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So lots of questions about it, so we'll go ahead and take a look at the chart here if you want. And so INKW, pull it up on WeTrade HQ. Just give me one moment here. Last closed on Friday at 0274. Looking at the 30-minute chart here, it's kind of settled into this channel here in the 2.5 to 3 cent range. It's had lows of 2 cents. Just barely went below 2 cents there, and then basically got gobbled back up. I think a lot of people like the value here at 2.5 cent range. And, all this is right now, it had highs of 5 cents. I personally got into this at about 1.5 pennies. So, I'm still pretty green on this. And so for me, it's just a waiting game. The share structure is very small. We get a look at the share structure here and the particulars of INKW. Security details here, outstanding shares is 673 million. The float's 109. That's a really small float, which means if you guys have been following me along within my channel, or if you're in my mentorship, that this is a very good share structure. It would take very little amount of buying power to move this in the right direction. So INKW is something that I see a lot of value in, like I said, and you know, it's one of those things we'll just have. It's just a wait and see at this point. You know, I think boredom might set in. I think it's why a lot of people might have sold out of this, just because they're sick of waiting. But I think the patience will pay off here eventually. Just I can afford to wait it out, and that's what I'm going to do. So yes, thanks for reminding me, Alan. YUMA. We'll take a look at that and see what's going on with YUMA. So closed out the day on Friday at 0114. Looking at the chart here, it doesn't look too crazy. I mean, it is decent looking chart. So I like to pull up Bollinger Bands and RSI just to kind of give me an indication as to where this might be headed. So it looked like it bounced off a pretty low point on the RSI and might be coming back in the right direction. But it looks like, honestly, that it settled into this sideways channel. Looks like a nice little support at 011. From a fundamental standpoint, let's look at what they are doing there. Just to let you know, this is a penny stock, but it is a it's not an OTC. It is a NASDAQ stock. Let's see here. Market cap's at 2.8 million. Shares outstanding is at 23, so that's really good. Obviously, share structure's pretty decent. They had an 8K out this week, which I'm probably sure that's why you're asking about it. Let's see. January 24th, Mr. Paul D. McKinney resigned from his position as president and chief operating officer. So sometimes this can be a catalyst, sometimes not. I don't think, me personally, I would see much value there. You got to give me something else to go off of. Where, you know, as far as what else you're looking at. The changing of officers obviously is something that to pay attention to, but it's not something, honestly, that it's going to be. I mean, unless they got like a CEO of a major corporation, like maybe Netflix or something crazy like that, that's when you would see some really decent movement with this. But for me personally, I'm not sure I see much going on with YUMA. If you see value in YUMA, I mean, go for it. I'm not telling you not to buy it, but I like the support level here at, you know, 11 cents. If you're looking to make an entry on this, whether it be a day trade or maybe even long term, it looks like 11 cents could be your nice little entry point, maybe even all the way down to 9. So obviously it's hit its lows in quite some time. Could potentially see a nice little reversal. We'll see. NNRX, thanks for bringing that back to my attention. Oops. NNRX. This one was a crazy mover. Went up 104% yesterday. Had gone up from trips to 0043 within a week's time. Another major mover. And we'll see where this goes. Personally, I think that it would not surprise me to see some sort of pullback. Look at this chart. Okay, it went from triple zeros, and it has blasted off to 0047 over the last several days. Actually, the last 3 days is when it's really happened. So looking at the half-hour chart, pulling up the Bollinger Bands. We'll just pull up Bollinger Bands for the sake of time. It had pulled back down into the inside of the upper band, but I still think this is white hot. I don't know if this would be something that I would touch at this point just because of the insane volatility and the chance of some sort of pullback. We'll see, though. I've been wrong before on, you know, stuff like this, but it's really anybody's guess when you're looking at something, especially if you haven't bought into this already. I think this would be way too high to get into for me personally. If you still see value in it, then you see value in it, and that's fine. But for me personally, it would be way too high of a price point for me to get in here at this time. Lots of good things going on with NNRX for folks that got in 000. So, all right. Okay, so it looks like we're good there. So I wanted to share one other thing with you guys. a lot of folks have been asking about a one-on-one type of mentorship. If anybody was interested in that, it is finally live and ready to go. If you guys are interested in a one-on-one mentorship with me, you can certainly do that here at WeTrade HQ. If you are already in the daily mentorship with our group of folks that I do with all of you from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time, you can upgrade, or even if you have already taken the course. Now, I will say that if you have taken the course and you have gone through my mentorship and all of that, this is an application process. So there's questions that you would just answer just to kind of give me a good, I guess, indicator of where you're at in your trading career. Now, I want to reiterate something, and I'll bring up my beautiful face. So just to kind of give you a brief overview of the purpose of the one-on-one mentorship, a lot of folks have been asking me for that one-on-one time. And so obviously, I'm a really busy guy. I do the day trading thing. I go through mentorship with you guys. I create these videos for you, and I run a business all at the same time, which is WeTrade HQ. Me and my partner Jake have been working tirelessly to get this thing going and to be able to provide you with great tools and resources for absolutely no cost to you, and to be able to help you become a better trader. So for this service in particular, the hours times, it's going to be a one-on-one mentorship, 1 hour a week for 4 weeks. It's a curriculum-based type of program. So if you took the course perhaps, or you're in the morning mentorship and you're still just not getting it, and you'd really prefer to have that one-on-one tutor type mentorship program, I have set that up. It's taken me a few months to get it really to a spot where I wanted to get it to. And having said all that, you're probably saying it's not cheap, and it's not. So it's not going to be something that it's going to be available to the masses either. I'm only opening it up to about 4 or 5 folks per month, because obviously I only have so many hours in a day to do this. So I'm taking on 4 or 5 people if you're interested. I'm not pressuring anybody into doing it. It's something that I've been asked about, so I thought maybe I would just provide it for you guys. No obligation to do any of this stuff. It's just there for you if you want it. So the reason why I have those application questions too is because I don't want to get people to think, oh, well, this is going to be the best route for me, especially if you're just starting out trading. If you've never traded a day in your life, then the mentorship, this one-on-one thing, for me personally, I won't want you spending the money on it, because there's other avenues. I mean, I have all kinds of free content here for you to use. I have the daily mentorship, which costs way less per month to do. And then there's the course as well. So like all of that stuff is far cheaper than what this is going to be. But if you still feel like you want that extra upper hand, or maybe you just want that one-on-one interaction and on a curriculum-based type of program, then that's what we're providing for you. But again, like I said, if you're just starting out trading, I don't want you to just go straight into just buying the Mac Daddy package, because that's not how this is designed. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm trying to price gouge them or anything like that. But like I said, this is one-on-one with me once a week for 4 weeks. It's a curriculum-based program. I put a lot of work into it, and so I feel like the price is justifiable. Just my opinion. We'll see how this goes. It's just kind of, for me, almost kind of like a pilot thing to see if people really do see value in this, and if they do, then maybe we'll continue it. But I'm only going to open it up to about 4 or 5 folks, so go ahead and check it out. Feel free to apply, and then I'll make my decisions on who we're going to be bringing on. And then those will actually start in February. So they'll start the first week in February. So today is Sunday. So a week from tomorrow is when those one-on-one type mentorships will be set to begin. I have availability of times in there once we get you all ready to go, and then feel free to check that out. So just going to observe some of the comments here, see if I can answer anybody's questions. All right. Yes. So Slim, yeah, just go back and watch it. We went over all kinds of stuff, man. All right, so not much else to go off of. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We had a great interaction. This has been awesome. I know that you guys have been liking the daily midday market recaps, and I think honestly that's kind of what's been jump-starting my channel. You guys have been awesome and so supportive of that. I'm going to follow up with you on how my YouTube channel has been doing since then. I know that I put out a video a couple weeks ago about how I have a goal to make $100,000 just off of YouTube to maybe inspire some folks who's looking to maybe create something that they love and get paid to do it. So I'm going to recap that later this week, maybe into next week, because it's been an awesome change so far. So gonna touch on that, and then I think that's it. So if you guys are new to this channel, if you've never subscribed to my channel, I certainly would appreciate that if you want to see more quality content like this. And I go live every day around noontime Eastern time to just do like a midday market recap and see how folks are doing within the market for that particular day. And like this video if you guys got value out of this, if you like the interaction, if you see value in the stocks that we were talking about, I certainly would appreciate that thumbs up to show me some more support. And if you are not part of WeTrade HQ, which is a free platform for people to learn and grow and celebrate each other's success, then that is also down in the description below. It's not just focused on over-the-counter or penny-type stocks. We have an array of other mentors that are specialized in their own fields, such as options, Forex, shorting, big board stocks, and even we're working on cryptocurrencies. It's a little bit slow going there, but we're working on that as well. And my whole vision with WeTrade HQ and WeTradeHQ.com was to focus on all of these types of markets, because I know that maybe penny stocks might not be for you, and you might want to go into some other area of the market. My whole goal was that no matter what part of the market that you are trading, WeTrade HQ will be and should be the place for you, and it's going to get there, guys. I'm super excited about it. So go ahead and check out those links down below. And as always, folks, I will see you all before the bell. B. Smith is out. Take it easy, folks.